Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So this came out a couple of weeks ago, but I thought it was important considering how far we've been following this: Swift alternatives and crypto remittance, sending money with cryptocurrencies. This article is basically stating how crypto remittances is replacing Swift payments, guys. In recent years, blockchain and cryptocurrency have disrupted traditional financial systems and are providing a viable alternative to cross-border fund transfer systems such as Swift. So, basically stating Swift is not the only option and that cross-border transfers is taking up a portion of the pie. Cryptocurrency remittance is becoming increasingly popular due to its cost-effectiveness, efficiency, and ease of use. In this article, we will explore the challenges associated with Swift payments for remittances in emerging markets, the disadvantages of Swift payments, and how crypto remittances is replacing the Swift system. Essentially, though, Swift payments have proven to be inadequate in meeting the needs of users in emerging markets. The financial system's severe challenges for international money transfers starts with significant exchange fee markup. So, of course, all the talking points that we've been discussing over the years: more expensive, more costly, less efficient, and, in a lot of these cases, you do need to go to a physical location in order to get this done, or get a banker on the phone and, spend 20, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, getting your money from point A to point B. They also talk about the disadvantages here in crypto remittances. Obviously, sending money over the XRP ledger, for an example. We know about the efficiency, the speed, the cost effectiveness, right? So, all this just to say that, they're picking up on it. Swift is seeing alternative solutions, and, this is why they had to react with their GPI solution. Ripple coming in hot about 5 years ago and really kind of challenging the incumbent. And now I'm sure it's not just Ripple that they're competing with. I'm sure there's many blockchain solutions that, some of their former customers that, they may have had 10 years ago are now switching towards. So this interesting, coming out just this month, really acknowledging the downfalls of Swift and where cross-border remittances are heading in the future. Ripple obviously gaining more market share as the months go on. So wanted to thank ISO 20022 Let's Do It here for posting that. Increasingly, guys, we are moving to a cashless society. This is no surprise. If you've been watching this channel, you probably already know that the powers that be want to push us in this direction. They were even mentioning it in Congress the other day. Here's Warren Davidson talking a little bit about this, and Jake Travinski's the one responding. Listen to this.
McHenry and when she was chairwoman, Maxine Waters, for paying attention to this space. The market really needs this legal clarity, and I think that's something that both of you have highlighted. But let me close with Mr. Travinski. If stablecoins are to eventually be used as an actual medium of exchange to move that store of value that is stable, do you believe it's necessary that they retain the attributes of cash, which is permissionless peer-to-peer transactions, versus an intermediary third party that facilitates the transactions?
Thank you for your question, Congressman. I think that's absolutely critical. I think that we are currently moving toward a cashless society, and we can go one of two directions. We can either follow China and have a currency that is totally controlled and surveilled by governments and also by corporations to serve a business model of surveillance capitalism, or we can reproduce the benefits of cash. I think we all agree that cash is a very important tool for people to use, and we can do that in the digital space using stablecoins.
Yeah, I think for it to be trusted, it has to have those characteristics. My time's expired and I yield.
So we are moving away from cash, and stablecoin legislation is the next logical step in the United States if they want us to move on to a cashless alternative. All this before maybe ushering in a central bank digital currency, which would obviously have a component of control to it. It could have a component of control. I'm not saying it will 100%, but, if the powers that be were to have their way, they would want it to be fully controllable. Now, it's interesting because we've been talking about reserve currencies in the U.S., dollar dominance falling. An interesting take from a man from China who says the Chinese Yuan would never actually be a world reserve currency. And he's got some interesting points here. Maybe this is why Putin and Xi Jinping are working together to create some other kind of, cryptocurrency, a BRICS nation reserve currency. We've been talking about it perhaps being backed by gold. But here's some reasons why the Chinese Yuan would never actually be used as a world reserve currency.
The pundits started to panic just because of a shitpost by Putin. When can you stop listening to that dumbass bunker bitch? You can mark my words, the Chinese Yuan will never become an international currency, let alone the main one. Why? Because China doesn't want it to happen. Putin might want it to happen, but Xi doesn't. Here's why. Firstly, you should know that China's wealth is concentrated in a group of crazy rich people. They have wealth beyond your wildest dream. Okay, you might think their closets are filled with Hermes or Chanel. No, they're filled with cash from the floor to the fucking ceiling. Just like rich people elsewhere, they are assholes with shady businesses. But what makes them different from the American rich assholes is that they don't want to stay in a country that made them rich. Weird, huh? Their entire life pursuit is to fucking run, or at least help their kids run. Folks in China even use the English word run to specifically refer to the action of leaving the country. So the rich people want to leave, but the only thing that holds them back is the fact that their wealth is yuan denominated. You know what I mean? They can't spend their money elsewhere. China doesn't let them sell their yuan beyond a certain quota. So rich people can only spend a tiny share of their wealth outside China. Now imagine what will happen if yuan becomes an international currency that's freely exchangeable. These mega rich people will be out of their birdcage. They'll swarm into luxury properties outside China like zombies chasing meat. And back home, the yuan-denominated assets will just collapse. The currency, the stocks, the real estate will all turn into worthless shit in a matter of weeks. You think the CCP will let that happen? No way. You can be rich, but your ass belongs to the state. Okay, now you might want to ask why rich people want to leave China. Well, that's a long story. I'll have to talk about it next time. But in the meanwhile, please stare at this graph carefully and tell me, do you really think Chinese yuan will replace the US dollar anytime soon?
So other than being a bit of a ham, this guy had some great insight on the Chinese yuan and, socio-political economics dynamics in the country of China. Some stuff that I didn't actually know about. In this chart here, world foreign exchange reserves. Okay, we can see some of these other countries, the CHF or the Swiss franc, only 0.2%. We got the Australian dollar at 1.9%, the Canadian dollar at 2.5%, the Chinese renminbi only at 2.8%, the Great British pound at 4.6%, and the Japanese yen 5.3%. Compare that to the second largest holding at 19.7%, which is the euro, followed by the US dollar at 59.8%. I guess I should also mention that other currencies here represent 3.3%. So some interesting insight here to keep Chinese millionaires, and in some cases billionaires, in the country. Xi Jinping is not going to allow the Chinese yuan to be an international currency because of these exact reasons. It would give these millionaires and billionaires more freedom to flee if there was more demand for the Chinese yuan, and so they're stuck. They are finding ways to get their money out of the country, and this has been the case for decades. But I mean, I guess this is also why the BRICS nations are looking for another solution, even though Vladimir Putin does want or has been floating the idea, allegedly with Xi Jinping, that they could use the Chinese yuan as a reserve currency for trade. I guess this is why they're floating some ideas about creating a brand new cryptocurrency, a new world reserve currency, or a new BRICS country reserve currency for financial transactions. Interesting insight. Wanted to thank Mr. Man here and Recession Tracker on Twitter just for letting us in on that. Now, we know XRP is going to be the backbone, the liquidity provider for a lot of the trades and transactions that are going to be occurring between countries like Russia and China. But the XRPL, guys, obviously has a lot more use cases. This one from Emi Yoshikawa here. Ripple will hold a side event called XRPL Zone on Thursday, April the 27th. If you want to learn more about the technical side of the XRP ledger, see development examples, or see a demo of a project in action, come visit the XRPL Zone. This is happening in Japan. David Schwartz is apparently going to be there. It's about a 5-minute walk from the consensus venue. CTO David Schwartz will be on stage. I will also be attending a panel on funding strategies for female developers and entrepreneurs. So if you guys are a developer and you happen to be in Japan, this is happening on April the 27th. Just thought I would bring that up. Also wanted to mention this with regards to Ripple partner Airwallex. A brand new update, guys. Airwallex is moving into Canada. So Ripple partner Airwallex today announced the launch of its global payment services in Canada. We know Canada is already Ripple enabled through the Bank of Canada. In the top 5 Canadian banks, there are already Ripple partnerships confirmed with, I believe, all 5 of them. But here, guys, the launch will empower Canadian businesses to tap into Airwallex's global payment and financial platform, offering a faster, more cost-effective and transparent alternative to traditional banks. Businesses in Canada can now access Airwallex's key offerings, including local currency accounts in over 12 currencies, a multi-currency wallet in 44 currencies, and payouts in 150 countries, with its proprietary local payment network. The full suite of Airwallex' global products, including multi-currency cards, spend management, and online payments, will be progressively rolled out into the market. And guys, here's a quote: "To thrive in today's challenging global economy, businesses must be able to scale without borders, move money across currencies with ease, and manage their finances across markets with a single integrated platform." And so Airwallex is excited to support the ambitious Canadian businesses who want to grow internationally, as well as international businesses who have operations in Canada. And Ripple-enabled Airwallex is going to provide them this solution. Finance across markets, across borders, e-commerce services, all that is going to be provided by this Ripple-enabled company. So Airwallex already supports a number of Canadian businesses across e-commerce, professional services, and technology sectors. And along those same lines of expanding, right, Airwallex's further expansion into Canada comes on the heels of strong growth in the Americas region, where its customer base increased by more than 300% year over year. Globally, Airwallex continues to scale at pace, covering more than 150 countries and enabling $50 billion US in annualized transactions. So we're seeing a big push here. They already have markets in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and Europe, not to mention Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, and the United States. So Airwallex, a big company, already offering remittances to many other countries, and now they're setting foot in Canada. So huge news here. Wanted to thank Mike for posting that. Another interesting connection with eBerry, guys. So check this out. eBerry, the global financial services firm and one of Europe's leading fintechs, has expanded on its online platform capabilities with the addition of 17 new exotic currencies. The full list is detailed. It means eBerry's clients, particularly charities and NGOs, who most commonly use exotic currencies, will benefit from the ability to seamlessly book spot trades for these currencies directly on eBerry online. Now, I probably should bring this up here, okay? eBerry, so this was back from May of 2022. Ripple expands into Latin America on new deal with Ripple partner Bexus Banco. And for those of you guys who do not know, there is a connection with Bexus and eBerry. So Ripple definitely connected through the Bexus partnership. Cornelius Clark, head of desk at eBerry, he said, "We are delighted to expand our online portal with these additional capabilities, which will help us further strengthen our market-leading position in the space. Charities and NGOs are particularly in need of providers to service a wide range of exotic currencies to make their operations as efficient as possible." So guys, what is the liquidity provider that could solve for that? Obviously, XRP. Solving for exotic corridors, that is exactly why XRP exists, or at least, the main reason it was created, the first reason. Obviously, the verticals are continuing to build out, but this is a perfect example of where XRP will flourish. Now, Wrath of Kahneman here also mentioning this: the currencies added were largely African currencies, so currencies also covered by Ripple partner MFS Africa. So that's an interesting little connection as well. Save the Nepalese ruby, which other Ripple users like Tranglo handle. Just confirming evidence, settlement times are listed as T+2, though we were talking RippleNet, not ODL. Further, there's no explicit mention of MFS Africa. Clearly, they have established a significant point of connection in Africa, but with whom? So some other questions here that we still are speculating on. Then there's the issue: to what degree, if any, does eBerry use RippleNet? This is not unknown. However, we do know eBerry is controlled by Ripple user Santander, and eBerry recently purchased Ripple user Bexus Banco, as I mentioned in that article with regards to that partnership. So ultimately, Bexus is not MFS Africa, and eBerry's Ripple connection is purely speculative. This is only circumstantial, but it certainly does look like eBerry has found an African access point where Ripple partners are involved. I would not be surprised if there was a connection here and they just weren't spelling it out. Again, the exotic corridors, Africa, and think about all those African fiat currencies where there's probably just not enough liquidity, right? So XRP would be that liquidity provider, whether it's through Bexus or eBerry or even MFS Africa. This is where the money is, guys. So an interesting new piece of news here: eBerry adding 17 more exotic currencies to its online platform. Liquidity is paramount. Brad Garlinghouse has always said this. And the fourth industrial revolution, well, where have we heard that before? That is a WEF talking point. I think maybe even Klaus Schwab was the first one to utter those words. Nevertheless, get this, guys, from payments here, how AI is giving treasurers real-time insight into liquidity. Now, this is coming from Ripple partner Bank of America and their head of data and AI in global transaction services, Jarrett Brunn. Listen to what he has to say here.
I benefit from a front row seat to how effective these technologies actually can be, and it's nothing short of astounding. And when you look at the technologies, people use this broad rubric of technology, and when you think about what it really is, it's the best description I've heard is it's the equivalent of the Industrial Revolution 4.0.
the equivalent of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, coming from Ripple partner Bank of America. Again, a WEF talking point, and what they're referring to, guys, is AI giving treasurers real-time insight into liquidity. Now, what are they doing here? Jarrett Braun, Managing Director and Head of Data and Artificial Intelligence. So getting into the AI component of all this, in Global Transaction Services of Bank of America, he tells payments that there's never been a better time for organizations to double down on their cash flow forecasting capabilities than right now. So cash flow obviously is going to be a big talking point. If there's a liquidity crisis, what are we going to do? The reason, according to Braun, is that astounding advances in AI machine alerting technologies that can be integrated into Treasury and Finance departments to support organizational goals. So he's stating this flat out. Here's a quote: AI and ML, which is machine learning, are transforming everything Treasury. It's the equivalent of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. When you think of what a treasurer does, trying to find operational and cost efficiencies, these tools and technologies fundamentally change how they can do their daily jobs. Cash flow forecasting helps businesses anticipate and manage potential cash flow problems, make informed decisions about their operations, and ensure they have enough cash to survive a challenging economic environment. Again, guys, let me remind you, this is coming from the head of AI over there at Bank of America, a confirmed Ripple partner. Forecasting is an important and increasingly critical part of an organization's overall business strategy, and cash flow intelligence helps drive roadmap realities that balance growth and profitability. Forecasting never stands alone, he says. They have to know ingredients, change their forecast. So a little bit on the the insights of forecasting on what goes into that. But they're using AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning capabilities. They are a Ripple partner, which got me thinking, is there any type of connection to the XRP ledger and artificial intelligence? Well, guys, bringing up this article back from October of 2021, this must have been in development for a while. This was a Ripple Drop article, Machine Learning on RippleNet. So yes, in fact, they are building AI technology over the XRP ledger in the fall of 2021. So this is a couple of years ago. An edition of the Ripple Drop, we explore machine learning's potential on RippleNet, the exciting developer community that's building on the XRP ledger, and how central bank digital currencies work and why they can promote financial inclusion. But get this next line here: machine learning bolsters liquidity, speed, and availability on RippleNet. So talking specifically about machine learning, ML, as mentioned by Jarrett Braun down here, AI and ML are transforming everything Treasury. It is the equivalent of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Back to the Ripple Insights blog, if there's one common need across RippleNet customers, it is reliable, readily available liquidity. Devraj discusses the complex and nuanced environment created by constant global customer demand and the way that he and his team are using machine learning to make liquidity available anytime, anywhere, to anyone in order to deliver a seamless user experience. So boom goes the dynamite. Jarrett Braun here, suggesting liquidity, machine learning, AI. This is going to be the future for providing liquidity. Liquidity providers are going to need to leverage these technologies in order to better prepare for a brand new financial future. Treasurers do need real-time insight on liquidity. Bank of America is already looking into this. Ripple, obviously a confirmed partner of Bank of America. And not only that, machine learning technology has already been developed on the XRP ledger as early as 2021, or at least this is when they first announced the updates. They've probably been developing this for a couple of years now. So 2023, 2024, when do you guys think we'll really see machine learning be part of RippleNet technology to leverage liquidity? And once the efficiencies really kick in, how high will the demand be for XRP? That's my question to you, and just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.